Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. It's the go-home episode of Smackdown as WWE prepares for Crown Jewel. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the first November edition of the Blue Brand and the wildest wrestling news stories you need to know, including more information on Baron Corbin, Indy Hartwell, and Tegan Nox leaving WWE. Is Cody Rhodes missing Survivor Series, and if so, why? Jim Ross comments on rumored heat between himself and Triple H, and more. As always, we won't recap the matches, but look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. The good. Tiffany's Mind Games. Not only was it Tiffy time tonight, but Mind Game night. Ms. Money in the Bank teased to cash in on Nia Jax at Crown Jewel, then doubled down by suggesting she'd cash in on Liv Morgan if Dirty Dom is part of the deal. Stratton may play a self-absorbed Powerpuff, but she's a crafty wrestler not to be underestimated. A good go-home show. Unlike Raw, SmackDown put much more effort into hyping Crown Jewel, especially with live segments as opposed to taped interviews or hype videos. Whether it was the Liv Morgan-Nia Jax confrontation, the Fatal 4-Way match between members of the teams competing for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, Roman and the Usos in-ring reunion, or the predictable finish for Cody and Randy Orton's tag team match against Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, fans were reminded of the big stakes at Sunday's show. A strong Fatal 4-Way. Tonight's Fatal 4-Way was a good showcase for the four teams and a reminder of how to mix up tag team wrestling rivalries with one-on-one matches, or a four-way in tonight's case. The bad. Roman Usos reunion was rushed. The reunion between Roman Reigns and the Usos felt rushed. Roman Reigns, not to mention Jimmy Uso, cost Jay a lot during his final days in and out of the Bloodline. Throw in the mind games Roman used on Jimmy and Jay and you have to ask why either man is running in to help him. It's a tough sell, even if you throw in the family factor, and this reunion should have played out a bit longer. Why does Naomi think she deserves a title shot? One of the most interesting takeaways to tonight's show was Naomi making it clear she still wants another shot against Nia Jax. Everyone wants a title shot, but in Naomi's case, her track record against Jax makes her a less viable contender as Piper Niven or Candice LeRae. While this may be a part of a slow heel turn for Naomi, it didn't make sense in a WWE that strives for logic in its storytelling. The downright ugly. Nothing ugly, a good show, especially for a pre-taped episode. Fans got the usual good selection of matches, as well as a proof of life match for Pretty Deadly. Things ran well from start to finish, which is a good sign as WWE prepares for Crown Jewel. More details on 3 superstars' exits. Topping today's news is a follow-up to WrestleLamia's special video on the departure of WWE superstars Tegan Nox, Indy Hartwell, and Baron Corbin. Fightful Select reported on the story with Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online's Brian Alvarez confirming it. According to Fightful, the cuts were announced on 1st November. However, the situations involving the wrestlers differ in that Baron Corbin was told his current deal wouldn't be renewed, while Tegan and Indy were released. Consequently, Nox and Hartwell have 90-day non-compete clauses that will keep them from wrestling anywhere else until February 2025. As for Baron Corbin, the Fightful report notes it's believed his WWE deal expires at the end of the year. If so, Corbin presumably will be able to work immediately after. The Fightful report suggests Corbin will have no problem finding work should he continue wrestling. Numerous indie bookers already asked Fightful when he'd be available, with one top booker saying they hoped he would continue his wrestling career. Fightful also noted that Corbin wasn't sold on his recent tag team with Apollo Crews, particularly after Corbin and Braun Breaker won the NXT Tag Team Championship as the Lone Wolves. Fans tuning into tonight's SmackDown saw Indy Hartwell team with Candice LeRae in a losing effort to Bayley and Naomi. The fact that WWE taped the match and aired it the same day as her release will likely invite speculation as to when the decision was made to release Hartwell, a former NXT Women's and NXT Women's Tag Team Champion. The Fightful report states that some WWE staff and superstars felt Indy was coming into her own. As for Tegan Nox, some might say the writing was on the wall as she hadn't been used in over 6 months. Fightful added that Nox hadn't even been used in dark matches or live events in months. Indy Hartwell tweeted, "Wait, what?" when the news broke, with some fans thinking she found out on social media. That wasn't the case according to Fightful, which added that it doesn't report on releases until wrestlers are made aware. More cuts coming? A question sure to be on WWE superstars' minds is whether more cuts are coming. As Wrestlelamia mentioned in in our video on the 3 cuts, the WWE's roster is huge and more cuts wouldn't be a shocker. Nevertheless, the Fightful article states, "For those asking, the internal claim was that this was the extent of this round of cuts. We're not sure the time frame on that phrasing. Anyone who has followed WWE through the years, as well as TKO Holdings since its formation, knows there are few, if any, guarantees when it comes to business, including strict limits on hirings and firings. Wrestlelamia will continue following this developing story." Is Cody Rhodes missing Survivor Series? Is undisputed champion Cody Rhodes missing Survivor Series? WrestleTalk's Connell Rumsey answered this question after Cody posted his upcoming WWE schedule via X, and there was no listing for 30th November's Survivor Series PLE. Rumsey is reporting, "Rhodes has been advertised for the show on previous posters, with many expecting him to defend the WWE Championship on the show, likely against Kevin Owens." Rumsey pointed out that, however, one event not listed on Cody's schedule is Survivor Series, which takes place on November 30th. The November 29th date is also not featured on the schedule, though he will likely still appear on the show, with it being taped following the prior week's episode in Salt Lake City, Utah. This wouldn't be the first time a world champion missed a Big Four event, as Roman Reigns missed last year. If Cody does miss this event, it may be evidence of how WWE is using its expanded, or bloated depending on your point of view, roster to allow it to run major shows at more than one show. Cody's status as the WWE's top star means he can anchor a tour while other superstars are busy elsewhere. This is nothing new in wrestling, and the rumors of Cody fighting Kevin Owens at December's Saturday night's main event adds weight to the idea that Rhodes may miss War Games. Cody Rhodes speculates on The Rock's return. Why did The Rock make a surprise appearance at the end of Bad Blood? Fans are still lighting up the internet with their take on what The Rock's appearance meant and where things are headed. These fans aren't alone, as Cody Rhodes spoke with WWE about this. Maybe a reminder that The Rock is not just this amazing Hall of Fame level multi-time world champion, the hottest man in Hollywood. He's not just that when it comes to WWE, he's actually the boss, director of the board, and as he's coined, the final boss. I think that more than anything is what he was reminding people, that he can show up at any point, do whatever he'd like, and everyone has to follow where the final boss goes. Rhodes, who defeated Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu alongside Roman Reigns at Bad Blood, speculated on the final boss's possible motives. He picked his shot to have arguably the two faces of WWE in there and squeeze his big, bald, shiny, lovely, beautiful head in there, that he's there too. It's a dangerous spot when it comes to The Rock, but I'm not complaining, because there are so many fans who still really love The Rock. I think maybe even inside, I still really like The Rock after every, but the final boss is a whole new beast. What do you think is next for The Rock, and could he show up at Crown Jewel? Let us know in the comments below. Jim Ross discusses rumored heat with Triple H. Last but not least, is there any heat between former WWE announcer Jim Ross and former WWE superstar turned executive Triple H? Good old JR discussed this during his podcast, Grilling JR. "I went on a vendetta as a television character about him and tried to make him a bigger heel than he was. There are still people to this very day that think I hate Triple H and he hates me and all that stuff. It's pro wrestling. Our job is to get talent over and to establish their persona, and I thought we did a nice job of establishing Triple H's persona that followed his lead on how all that stuff worked out." JR's ability to sell the story was that he was legitimately upset with Triple H, and fans' belief it exists to this day is a reminder of how professional wrestling can suspend a viewer's disbelief. Ross's ability to tell this story is evidence that he was more than just an announcer, he was also a talent. The beloved WWE Hall of Famer also praised Triple H's work and discussed whether he thought the cerebral assassin earned his spot in the WWF during Steve Austin's lengthy injury-related absence in 1999. Triple H just earned the spot. I mean, I don't know who else you would pick out of our roster that was more ready for the spot that Triple H earned than Triple H. He earned his spot, and he was really, really good at it. Do you agree with Jim Ross's assessment of the game's work in 1999? Well guys, there you have it, Wrestlemania's look at the first November edition of Smackdown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know in wrestling. Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.